educating the consumer on all different kinds of choices they might have. What they don't realize is that every manufacturer I know of caskets in the country, and there's not many of them, their 22 or 20 gauge steel caskets are painted in the exact same color as their 18 gauge. You could get it in midnight blue or pearl white or onyx black. Shoot, it could save you $1,000 right then and there. You know what? Does your loved one really know whether or not they're an 18 gauge or 22 gauge steel casket? Does it really matter? You know, it's just a matter of giving families good, educated, good information so they can make an educated decision on what they want. We let them know all the tricks and all the things that may happen in this industry, and we protect them from it. But you know what? You're grieving, you're upset, you're not thinking straight, you aren't really going through the whole process. And all of a sudden the funeral director says, oh, now we got to go ahead and select a casket and an outer burial container, which the casket goes into at the cemetery. Oh, we do? Yeah, we do. And so the funeral director says, could you please join me? We're going to go into the casket selection room. Most funeral homes, the first thing when you walk in the door of that casket selection room, you're going to see a solid bronze or a solid copper casket. It's going to be absolutely spectacular. I mean, they got special lighting in the center of the room shining down on their solid copper casket. And you know what? It's going to look beautiful. Velvet interior, shiny, bright hardware, and it's going to have a price tag probably well over $8,000. We've seen them as high as $12,000. Right next to that, you're going to see a solid cherry or a solid mahogany casket. That mahogany casket's going to be carved wood around the whole thing. I mean, this is what we bury the presidents of the United States in. You know, is that really in our, even in a middle class family, is that really in their realm of thinking? Well, here's what's going on. They're setting the bar way up here. They're merchandising. And I'm not saying it's illegal, but the consumer has to realize what's really going on. The next line of caskets they're going to see are the 18 gauge steel caskets. These things are beautiful. They got carved finishes on them. They're metallic. The funeral homes use names of their colors like onyx black, pearl white, midnight blue, just like the car industry. And I mean, they're going to have a back panel on the casket, and you're going to be able to change it out right above where the body lays. Right there's going to be a back panel when the lid's open, and you could have embroidered on it praying hands, an angel. If Dad was a farmer, you could get a red Massey Ferguson tractor. If he liked John Deere, it could be green. And you know what? You could even have stitched on it a Bible that's opened up that says going home, ... Whatever you want. They're merchandising all kinds of stuff. Now the latest craze is they have removable corners. The actual corner of the casket comes off. You can get anything you want. You could get the piata, you could get a cross, you could get a crucifix. If Dad was a fisherman, you could get a little bass fish with a fishing pole on it. Or Mom was a gardener, it could be a little bouquet of flowers with a little garden shovel. Right before they lower that casket down into the outer burial container, the funeral director is going to walk up to that casket with a black velvet bag and take off all 4 of those corners, place them in the velvet bag, and hand them to you as a memento. Folks, really, do you really want a piece of your loved one's casket as a memento? Sure did sound like a good idea on the showroom floor, right? You're just buying stuff. And then the next line of caskets after the 18 gauge steel caskets that can be personalized in any way you want to are the 20 gauge or 22 gauge steel caskets. The higher the number when you talk about the gauge of metal, the thinner it is. Well, on the 20 gauge caskets, many of the funeral homes, not all, many of the funeral homes, they're painted on the most horrible colors you could ever imagine because these are the less expensive caskets. They don't really want you to buy these. And you know what? They'll paint them colors like dirt brown, army green, submarine gray. There's no metallic finish on them. There's no shine to them. They paint the hardware, everything, one flat, ugly color. Now, what are you going to do? I'm a funeral director. I know exactly what you're going to do. You're going to sit there and you go, you know what? Dad wouldn't want me to buy that $10,000 solid bronze casket. You know what? We'll go with the 18 gauge steel midnight blue casket, praying hands on all four corners, and an angel on the back panel. Bingo! I got you exactly where I want you as a funeral director.